Okay, I'm going to send the feed your way. Have a great show.
Okay, thanks, man.
Welcome to the Infinite Human Talk Show with Elizabeth Monroy. Over the next hour, you'll learn how you can become part of the new consciousness renaissance by evolving yourself physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, financially, and socially to embrace your true divine infinite nature and become an infinite human and co-creator of the new infinite earth. Now, here is your host, Elizabeth Monroy.
Hello, my divine infinite human beings. You're all that is, ever has been, and ever shall be. And I'm so glad to have you in our Divine Inner Healing series. And today we're discussing healing yourself and healing our Mother Earth. And I'm going to point out how deeply connected they are. Last week we had Tom Palladino, who introduced the concept of scalar waves and our holographic template, and he offered a free, it is on his website, Scalar lightwaves.com, I believe it is, Tom Palladino, you can put that in, free 15 days. And I've been doing it. I'm sensing some shifts, and I'll talk about it more next week when I finish the 15 days. But I know right now I wanted to do healing, especially in January, because it's very much a part of everyone's minds. And definitely I've had my own challenges that I will go into more detail. But healing is such a huge term that unfortunately the medical community has pretty much desecrated and completely inverted the true definition of healing. So if you want to know more about that, of course, I have it in my book, The Infinite Human, that Peter and I wrote, although I've just upgraded it. It's not on Amazon right now because I'm trying so hard to get it uploaded. But there is one on my website, the PDF, not the printed form. That's the second edition that brings us up to date after the whole pandemic of what's been going on. And we also have the book, The Pathway Home, which I wrote with Peter about healing being physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. But I really want to address it because I know so many of you are experiencing all kinds of health crisis right now. And perhaps you're just stumped because you might be doing everything right. You might be doing all the preventative holistic stuff, you might be doing all the medical stuff, you might be doing everything, and there's, what is it, an influenza, I think they call it, or the bugs going around, or everyone's sick, or this is happening. And I'm going to kind of give you a much greater perspective, and especially the audience that seems to tune into my frequency and my voice. We're going to go really to the highest level with this disclosure about healing. And so I want to set the tone, which we already set last time, about the fact that we live in a holographic multiverse, infinite verse. And everything is holographic, and the correct divine organic holographic blueprint is perfection. It's beauty, harmony, unity, oneness, and everything feeds directly from source. And because we feed directly from source, when everything's running correctly, there is no death, there is no decay, there is no dis-ease, there is no deterioration, because we are constantly breathing in our sustenance with absolutely no disruptions in taking that infinite divine source from source and breathing it back out into our holographic template. or blueprint. So that is the beautiful dance. It's a breathing in and breathing out, or flash sequences, if you will have it, where we flash into source and flash back out in a micro in the smallest unit of time that is possibly imagined. That isn't even time. It's just flashing into source, getting what we need, and recreating, co-creating with infinite source our holographic reality, our holographic template. And that is the order, the divine order. Now, we have that. Our Mother Earth has her own holographic blueprint. And as a collective, we are co-creating constantly a holographic blueprint. But what has happened, and I think everyone's becoming very aware of that, is that we've been hacked into. And the divine blueprint, which follows the crystalline spiral of life, which follows the open architecture, has been hacked into by the fallen finite architecture. And I've talked about it as the Fibonacci spiral of death that leads us not back to source, but downwards, so that these parasitic entities who have themselves severed themselves from divine, or the vine of life, of source, infinite source, can feed upon us, because they can't feed from source. So they spend all their time and energy and creative abilities, which are very limited, in trying to feed themselves or parasite off of other living sources of. And so that's what we are. They've done that into our time matrix by boring a black hole from fallen parallels universes. And they've been coveting our Earth because of it's a very key position in the architecture of our time matrix. So they have done all kinds of diabolically brilliant maneuvers. And one such is that they have done something that is called the poison apple. So they've actually tilted our planet, the Merkaba of our planet, completely off the crystalline spiral, which has that direct connection with infinite source. And it's like taking your head. In fact, many people have, myself included, chiropractic adjustments that have to, put the right occiput in place, because it's constantly being tilted off, so that the energy cannot flow, or your spine cannot align with the divine. Likewise, our Earth has been taken off of its divine alignment with infinite source. And because of its shift on its active axis, and the skewing, a misuse of the rod and the staff, the divine feminine, the divine masculine, horizontal and vertical axes, it has also been able to be hacked in, because now, since it is tilted, the moon, which David Icahn, will have him on in 2 weeks. I'm so excited. He writes about in great detail, and I write about it in The Infinite Human, how the moon is not organic to our Earth. It was brought in as part of the Great Reset after the Luciferian Rebellion, and it is now broadcasting, sending these hacked in AI frequencies that come from the rings of Saturn to our moon, and then they come into our planet, and they have been hacking into our own organic divine blueprint. And that is the major reason why we have dis-ease. We have become fragmented. We have become unplugged. Our DNA, our 12 strands of DNA, have become unplugged from infinite source. And this has gone on and on to great detail. So not only have they done this, of course, to our Mother Earth, because we are Earth, ashes to ashes, dust to dust. We are made up of stardust and of our Mother Earth. We have the same minerals, the same composition. Anything they do to our Mother Earth is reflected in our own biological vehicles, our bodies. So when they distorted Mother Earth when they disconnected her from divine infinite source and distorted her Merkaba, distorted her spins and everything. They also did that to our own organic bodies, which caused us to not be able to feed directly from infinite source. And our Merkabas were turned into Metatronic, reversals and Metatronic face locked Death Stars, and unnatural wormholes and from a fallen system. And, these overlays continued on and on and on into our divine blueprint, our divine holographic template, restructuring it and reversing all the polarities so that we have ended up where we're at now, completely disconnected, unplugged, and distorted, so that we live finite lives. We experience dis-ease. We experience growing old, which is not part of the program. But, okay, so that's just so you can understand where we were and why we're here. And what happens to our Mother Earth is so connected to us, which is why they are so desperately right now. And anyone with eyes to see can look up at the skies and see how they have been launching a massive campaign to blot out the sun, to powder us with all kinds of metallic parasites and smart dusts, to do everything they can to destroy organic life and to destroy our mother with the low orbiting satellites, from the Starlinks, from Elon Musk's SpaceX, from the 5G towers, from everything. So why are they doing this, though? That's what you've got to ask yourself. Why? And it seems to be getting worse every day, but I've got some good news for you, okay? Which is why I want you to know that even though many of you, myself included, have been incurring a lot of this, these weaponry from this war of frequency that we're in, the good news is so much has changed. So I have some really wonderful news to share with you now, and I'll start sharing it with you. As many of you know, I'm in Malta, so I'm going to talk about my personal journey after the break. But right now, I want to tell you what an amazing time we have now entered and why there was so much warfare going on, especially, the beginning of this year and during before Christmas and everything. It was really, really heavy artillery. They brought out the big guns. And the reason is because truly things are ending. The most important thing is that we've, Mark, of course, everything takes its time. There's nothing that happens just right like that particular moment, but the Kali Yuga has ended, which is thousands of years of the very dense frequencies of karmic debts have been settled, and we are at last now entering into the true age of enlightenment, not the false one before, several hundred years ago, but this is the true age of enlightenment. This is the true age of Aquarius, not the zodiac sign, but I'm talking to the time matrix in another Akasha that is hosting the Crystal River Failsafe program to bring us back on track, to bring us back in alignment with the Crystalla spiral. And many of you who are listening to me are part of this, are the plants that have come from this very evolved, very crystically oriented healing matrix to be part of the foundation of this return back to the Crystalla spiral and back to the organic timelines. So many of you perhaps have been getting hit a little bit harder. And I think the hardest part is when you don't know who you are and the parasites do. Because then, they have you because you're not aware of all the weaponry and all the attacks that you're getting. So a lot of what's going on for many is that they are getting attacked, and they have been getting attacked because they're not aware of how powerful you are. You're not aware of that. So that's part of waking up to realizing how powerful you are and taking whatever precautions you need to fulfill, to maintain your health, your body integrity, and to fulfill your very, very important soul mission here. So that's what we're going to get into here. So we've also have a lot of shifting, some of the the zodiacs with the Pluto going into Aquarius, and I just listen, but mostly I feel it in my body if something's happening. There's also a lot of work with the guardians that have actually cleaned out a lot of the fallen Ruby order, and I'm here in Malta, so a lot of the Ruby templates, and something very huge has just occurred with the Earth template, which is amazing, and I'll tell you that story after the break. But I was fortunate enough, even though I did it screaming and hollering because it was the most difficult thing of my life, I was honored to be part of that. So the point that I want to make most of all right now is for us to begin to realize, to step out of the below the net consciousness, okay? Because that's what's happening now. Everything is happening. Also, the ascension, our Mother Earth has decided to ascend, and there is a wave, a Nomi wave that is growing inside of her that is causing her to ascend. And we're getting so much plasma frequencies, rainbow plasma frequencies that are streaming through our sun, that are activating our mother's body and our body. So we have these two things going on. We have and so many of you may be feeling incredible for a few days, like I was. I mean, I did things I could never do. I can't believe the things that my body actually did, like in 1 week's time, and how much I looked at my, to see how many miles I walk, because I do keep track of that. I do keep track of that. I couldn't believe it because that was a miracle. And then the next week I was in bed for a week. So, a lot of you may be feeling these ups and downs, and they have to do with the fact that, we are in this war, but things are getting so close where the net around net Earth is just barely hanging on, and that's why they keep infusing it with all these chemtrails and chemicals and EMF frequencies and low magnetic satellites they're trying desperately to maintain that. But when that pops, when that dissolves, then everyone, it'll be just like the movie They Live, when everyone has a pair of sunglasses and they'll be able to see the true history that has been hidden from us, hidden in plain sight. They'll be able to see all the corruption. They'll be able to see what is really going on. They'll be able to wake up from the dream. And that's, in fact, the name of David Icke's book, which we'll be talking about when we have him on the 5th of February, The Dream. And it's about, waking up from the dream spell that we have been under. So that's a huge part of it. And part of realizing that is how interconnected we are to our planet, and how much the energetic template, the morphogenic soup around of our Earth, okay, is key. This is all a war over the energetic template of our planet, and it's been that way for eons. And that's what the wars were here on Malta to take hold, to possess the energetic template of our planet. So that's part of what we will be awakening to. And there was a time on our planet before it was fragmented and splintered to pieces, to smithereens, that the template, the energetic structure, the ley lines, the dragon lines, the nodes, the stargates, the grail lines, the holy grails, which are the stargates, were held in perfect balance, in perfect at one minute with the crystalline spiral of life leading back to infinite God source. And it was the goddesses, the incarnation of the divine masculine and divine feminine, that did that in the physical. They grounded those frequencies, they toned those frequencies, they maintained those frequencies in their monolithic stones made of massive limestones with the crystalline spirals carved in them. And I talked about that a little bit before when I talked about Malta, but I'm here. I really wanted to be on the beach in the Yucatan, but I got sent here and have not been happy about it. But I can see now why, because it was huge. And so a lot of people are, that's why I'm talking about heal yourself, heal the earth, heal yourself, because we're talking about basically we're one and the same. So if you're really on the true spiritual ascension path and awakening, you are beginning to understand some basic principles that, one, everything is energy, and two, to really affect a change, you need to affect a change in the holographic template of yourself and of your Mother Earth. That is how whoever controls that holographic blueprint, that template, which the parasites have been controlling through their hacking into it, through their hacking in with low frequencies, and through controlling the island of Malta, which was the pass key, the password to all the ley lines, where all the dragon, it's called the dragon egg of dragon eggs, where all the ley lines intersected. So they could feed into it whatever they wanted to. They could put into the program whatever they wanted the earth to emanate, the holographic template of our planet to be. They controlled it. It's like controlling the DNA. You modify the DNA of a organism, and you don't have a rabbit anymore. You have a dinosaur or something, which is what they did with the CRISPR technology. So people, the parasites understand this, but unfortunately, most human beings, because they're still functioning under the net of consciousness, do not understand that. So what they have been doing is simply reacting, because it's like they're in the soup, they're victims in the soup, and they can't change the soup. If they're throwing in hot tamales and spice, that's what they're eating that day. We have had no power, because we have been robbed of our position as the guardians of our planet. When the goddesses were banished from here and the parasites and fallen angelics took over, they have been controlling it, and they've been feeding loosh, which is human sacrifice, fear, terror, anger, competition, division, war, which is what we have. When you look at in the world today, you see the wars, you see the competition, you see the struggles, you see poverty, you see famine, you see dis-ease, illness, you see just the low frequencies of depression, of survival, of hopelessness. So that's what they've been feeding into our Earth's templates. And now we're getting it back, okay? That is what this is all about. Reclaiming the energetic blueprint of our planet, so we can put in what we want. what we want to experience. And if you do that on your planet, you can do it in yourself. Also, you need to reclaim your own holographic template so you can decide what you want to program into it to create, co-create with Infinite God Source the reality you want to experience. So you can call that mumbo jumbo, you can call that magic, you can call that esoteric knowledge. And it is, because esoteric simply means hidden. It is knowledge about the true nature of reality and of our multiverse that has been hidden from you. Powerful, powerful knowledge that only the parasites know. Okay, so all right, we're going to just take a very short break here. And when we come back, I will address more about what major shifts is happening and how you will be seeing a difference in your reality, in the holographic blueprint, in the soup, on the earth, depending, of course, on which timeline you are focusing your attention on. All right, and that's going to be huge. So I'll go ahead and take a short break. And if you have any questions or comments, you can put them in the box. Or okay, all right. I'll talk to you shortly.
For more empowering words from Elizabeth Monroy and Dr. Peter Monroy, check out their latest book, The Infinite Human, an ascension guide for starseeds, twin souls, and awakening infinite humans, the co-creators of the new infinite 5D Earth. You'll also find many spiritual books to help both children and adults in their ascension back to home, to infinite God Source. Isn't it time to be part of the new consciousness renaissance? If this resonates with you, please subscribe to our website at infinitehuman.com and become part of our growing Infinite Human family.
It's your world. Motivate, change, succeed. VoiceAmericaEmpowerment.com.
Welcome back to the Infinite Human Talk Show with your host, Elizabeth Monroy. Do you have a question or comment for Elizabeth or her guests? Please call us at 888-346-9141. That's 888-346-9141. You can also text or email your questions and comments to infinitehumanproductions@gmail.com. Now, back to the show.
And welcome back, my divine infinite human beings. Now, we've been talking about true healing and how it occurs in a shift, in a correction of your holographic template, because we live in a holographic multiverse, and how we are very interconnected to what happens to the holographic template of our Mother Earth. So what does that have to do with our day-to-day life? You know, what does that have to do with the price of bridge? How do you actually, if you're feeling ill, if you're feeling sick, how do you heal yourself? You know, what is the best course of action, you know? So, of course, modern medicine's pretty much taken out the whole concept of healing crises. And unfortunately, when they did that, they really shortchanged the true healing process. The healing process is a difficult one. It's not easy, but it is so worth it, because to experience true, powerful, fundamental healings, shifts in your holographic reality, you need to go to the root cause, the roots of all your dis-ease. And modern medicine has taken the opposite path. What they've done is to try to cover up the symptoms, so that just when you start to perhaps get close to the root of the problem, you end up going out and doing things that will mask it, that will spiritually bypass it, which that will stop you from really experiencing. And it is sometimes very painful. So people don't like pain. They like the easy way out. They want to feel better right away. And so they'll, go for perhaps something that will take away the symptom, but not the cause, as Rocky Horror said. So, and and this is, please don't believe me. I'm not a doctor. I'm a doctor's wife. So Peter and I have seen this happening on and on and on throughout, the digression of modern medicine. You really cannot ever finish with something until you get to the root of it. But the good news is, because of all these amazing plasma frequency energies that are streaming into the planet, because of the ascension cycle that we're in, because of the grounding of these higher frequencies and the ascension of our Mother Earth, we are being given the opportunity to finish up all of our karma, all of our trauma, all of our deep festering wounds, to get rid of them once and for all. And this is the time to do it. This is the time to do it. So what does that mean? What does that look like in daily life? Well, not always pleasant, because we call it shadow work. It's become the kind of the thing, shadow work, or healing your inner child, or these are all tags. And I'm not saying that, coming from a family of psychotherapists, or, working with coaches, that's fine. If that's helping you, if you're seeing results. But one of the things that I've found out, and I'll just kind of recount my story here in Malta, is that we are so deeply tied in to our mother, especially women, because women have been in command, been the guardians of the planet. Women hold the most powerful energy of the divine feminine, the power of creation, creating not just humans, but creating worlds. They're portals to higher dimensions. And they have been the most traumatized, the most attacked, the most MK Ultra mind controlled through trauma, because they are such sensitive, that divine feminine is such sensitive, fine-tuned energy, healing energy, that is so sensitive to the traumas. And the traumas have occurred and reoccurred and reoccurred and reoccurred, and it's been in a repetitive time loop that has just kept digging it deeper and deeper and deeper. Now, how do you know if you've been traumatized? Well, if you don't remember your past lives or your alternate identities, some of you have glimpses of them, or you're beginning to recover and reconstruct them. That's a sign of healing. That means you are healing that lifetime. You are healing that. And as you heal that, usually those traumas, and it's usually the same trauma that just has been occurring all over the planet, but it occurs in one location. And in my book, The Infinite Human, I talked about Peter and how he was Alakut, the brother of Chief Joseph. And when we found the battlefield where he was killed by the soldiers trying to cross over to Canada to freedom, all of a sudden it was a sunny day, and just the clouds appeared out of nowhere and opened up, and we were and it just rain and hail poured all over us, and it was just a very, very cleansing healing. And as soon as that had happened, the sun came back out again. It was amazing. So there are places on the planet that have been literally marked, saturated with our blood, with our trauma, with our pain, and it is seeped into our mother, who feels these wounds, these gaping wounds, and she carries them in her soul. She carries them in her blood vessels, in her ley lines, in her dragon lines. She carries them with her. So when you are called to go to a place and do some work. People, it's kind of gotten popular now, grid work. I'm a grid worker, but it's really like not always pleasant. It is actually, you are going back, you are reliving and reclaiming and feeling, because you have to feel to heal. You are feeling that agonizing pain and trauma of being, cut down, of being murdered, killed, raped, violated, of having everything you believed in, all your ideals and dreams trashed to the ground. And that has happened over and over and over again. And all those traumas, have gone into to cement this victim mentality that so many of us have been carrying with us. It's a victim mentality. It's a martyr mentality. It's a deep, deep festering wound. It's cosmic rage. And if you can really let yourself feel it, because we have been so many times, we have been trying to get things, back to the center, back to the Christella spiral, back to infinite God source. So when you visit these sites, you have a chance to alchemize all that deep pain for yourself and many times for the collective, which can really create a deep karmic healing cycle, which a deep healing crisis, which, if you're a strong soul, if you're a great soul, you will alchemize it. And if you alchemize it, not only do the old saying, if it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger. You will come back. You will come back even stronger and clear the way for the collective to heal and purge themselves. So you will help that whole collective holographic template of that thought form for that soul group that you are working with. So that's real spiritual work, guys. It's deep. It's a little bit deeper than, having a YouTube channel and, doing, wearing your, crystal tiaras and telling people, hey, this is the latest, So, and that's fine. I mean, everybody has a job, and I don't want to judge, but I do discern. And so, if many of you are doing this, and you don't even know it. Many of you are doing it in your communities. You're doing it in your travels. You're doing it when you're called. And, the unsung hero, maybe you're not, popular. Maybe you don't have a whole bunch of likes on social media or have a lot of followers, but you know what? That's always been like that throughout the ages. There's always been the ones who talk the talk, and then the ones who actually walk the walk. And walking the walk is hard, and you don't always get, you're not an icon, a social media icon, or popular. And you know what? It doesn't matter for me. I say this because I hope my words will first of all excite and awaken you, and hopefully give you some a deeper clarity on what you have been doing and what you've been going through, because a lot of your healing crises have been you alchemizing. Even those who have been vaccinated, I do believe there were many who did that to actually alchemize and transmute what was given to humanity. And it was a tough job, so I don't judge the people that chose that. But because I think it would have been a lot worse had we not had some people who had great souls who have been the alchemizers of that. So that is true spiritual walking the walk, is being an alchemist. So I just want to share with you very shortly my experience here in Malta, because it's been quite an amazing experience. And I think the story should be told. I think the words should go out into cyberspace. And I do have some judgments because it's been a very emotional journey for me. So I will share with them, and take what you will. But When I first came here, I was so thrilled to come back. It was like a homecoming, and I felt like a goddess returning. And as I visited the Hypergeum, which was the underground chambers that are called, some of them the Oracle Room, the Holiest of Holies, the sacredness and sanctity of this amazing place was just so overwhelming, and it was so beautiful. And then when I visited the goddess temples and saw the Crystalla spirals and the statues, well, first of all, it was just so wonderful to be back home. I felt like, oh my God, I came home. And it was high. It was such a beautiful high. I was ecstatic. Then the work set in, the pain set in, the trauma, the memories. The memories began to arise, and it was a feeling that I don't think I've ever felt, perhaps only after I lost Peter. It was such a deep, deep-seated emptiness. I mean, it went beyond sadness. It was just kind of a hollowness, and it was so sad I couldn't even cry. I couldn't even voice what I felt. It was just kind of a numb nothingness of empty darkness, I would say. And that I carried that for a long time. It's almost several weeks, and I couldn't seem to shake it, but it was there. And when I saw these beautiful goddess statues that had been thrown into the pits or been shattered, um, and when I saw the massive cover-up job that the Maltese government has done in covering up all these ancient temples, now they're bringing in foreigners way over the capacity of this tiny little sacred island, and then they're slapping up all kinds of concrete monstrosities covering up all these ancient temples, and there's a huge massive honeycomb of ancient temples and chambers that they've just covered up. They've shown just a very, very small part of it, and even the ones that are existing now that hold that sacred frequency are in danger of being encroached upon by the greedy, expanding developers that have sold out this beautiful island. There's very little greenery left. It's become a death trap because they've encased it all in 5G, and there's hardly any trees or any kind of grounding places left. So when I saw this rage just started to fester inside of me, and I was so angry. And I looked at the what had become of what the goddesses were, the females, and there was no connection to the ground underneath their feet. And they were just, uh, uh, constantly the dust and everything was in the air because they were always drilling into the rock trying to build more massive concrete monstrosities. So it was deep, I think, rage, sadness. Of course, under mad is always sad, and it was just so many emotions, but it was so deep I couldn't even express it. Until I turned on the movie Billy Jack. Now, if you're not American, you probably don't know what it was, but Tom McLaughlin and his wonderful wife, Dolores Taylor, and they have a daughter, which I'd love to have on this talk show, still living, Teresa McLaughlin. I think it goes by that name. He created such an incredible movie series, Billy Jack, back in the 1972, when I was, just the age of their daughter. I was very young, and it was so impressive. And it was in a time when America was really, there was still some innocence, and they were trying to, call out the politicians and call out all the racism and all the greed and everything they were doing. And he was a half-breed, so he went back back to the grandfathers, the elders of the Native Americans to bring forth what was true and real. And one of the theme songs was, 110 Soldier, which it was all about greed. And when I put that movie on, I just listened to the song, the beginning of it, and I began to emit this deep, deep, I don't even know what it was. It was a scream, a cry, a wail, a purging. I was looking outside of myself, not even observing, because I was so enthralled in releasing this pain that was not just my pain. I think it was the pain of all the women, all the females, all the divine feminine embodiments of the goddesses that were just letting out this powerful, powerful. And I think I just screamed without even breathing for the entire song. I don't know how long it was, but finally I just kept, it just purged out of me, and I felt like I was a conduit from all this pain that had been come from our planet, because here is the key, the keyhole to the entire template of our Mother Earth, right here on Malta, what it remains of it. It's just a tiny little rock in the middle of the Mediterranean. But and then I felt like then I began my healing coming back, because I had just been filled with such darkness, such trauma, such pain, such anger, such rage. So that was my healing journey. And I think, and then after that, finally, after connecting all these crystalline spirals and staying in this limestone ancient home that I had been renting and running the tones, I connected them all, and I wasn't sure what I was doing, but then I knew what I was doing, because Peter just, came to me, and I was in a deep meditation where we together actually ran the plasma frequencies that were coming in from coming in from the Aquinas matrix outside of our time matrix, and flooded them through the ley lines. And this work had been done by guardians, by many people, but I was the grounding rod for it. So I was flooding it through. And when I did that, it was purging the ley lines of our planet, so it could actually be assimilated or overshadowed by the true divine blueprint of what our Earth was before it was shattered in the Andromeda, our mother galaxy, which was called Eartha, that it was able to meld with that corrected holographic template. And it was amazing. And Peter was just smiling at me. And I was wearing my aquamarine ring that he gave me for Christmas. And so anyway, I'm not sure if you understand what I'm saying, but the good news is that our planet has been integrated with its true divine holographic imprint that still remains in Andromeda, that fragmented piece of Tara. And the net, I feel like, is really going to start disseminating and evaporating. And I see the day when the chemtrails are just not going to be happening. The planes are going to fall from the skies. I don't know how it's going to happen, but there are those who still will perhaps stay in that dimension of awareness and choose to, because they feel powerful there. They have so much invested in this AI world, and as it should be, they have the right. But I do believe the time is coming when we're going to really experience major shifts. So the good news is, hold on. It's coming. I mean, this happened, of course. The timing was perfect, because I was the ground crew, just kind of consummating all the work that had been going on for eons. But it had happened at the end of the Kali Yuga. It happened as Pluto went into Aquarius. It happened, as so many things consummated. So we all, okay, I tell you my story because many of you may have similar stories. Maybe you even get this, but then you're thinking to yourself, nah, I'm just imagining that. But your imagination is your passport into these higher dimensions. That's how it happens. And you have to believe in yourself. You have to believe and remember and know how powerful you are. And I like these stories to be told. I that's what my Infinite Human book was all about, my story and my story with my twin souls, so people can get a real sense of it. So it's not just a popular little meme or a little picture on Facebook or something, but it's actually a story that's been lived and digested and shared, because that's how we have as a species learned and grown, by telling stories around the fire at night. The tribes get together and they share their stories. We need to share our stories. At the end of my book, The Infinite Human, I say, this is my never-ending story. Now go and tell yours. And that's what we all need to be doing. We need to be tapping into going beyond the space fence, going beyond the accepted reality, which so many are still clinging to, and really allowing ourselves to see what is going on and our magnificent role in this, because everybody has a job. And I'm sorry if I don't mean to be criticizing you if you're one of these Maltese women who gets the most unhealthy beauty, products that because for me, beauty is one, when you're one with Mother Earth, and it means be you to the full. And I've seen people that are, and it's not just here, it's everywhere, that are putting on the fake this and the fake that and the fake that. And so, everyone has a right to create their own holographic reality the way they want. But we're entering a time where you're able to get back to the true divine holographic template and embrace your true uniqueness and your soul mission, which is so exciting. It's going to be so passionate for you, and it's going to be something only you can do. And that's what I'm all about, is encouraging, empowering, especially the women, to break free of this lunar reflective male, for the solar male reflection of men, and reclaim that divine hergamic union with inside of them. And the time is now. And the goddesses, well, I know one dragon queen that's returned. All right. So thank you so much. And next week we will continue with the healing series. And then we will be having David Icke on the 5th. I just heard from them. So please stay tuned. A lot of the chats I put on Facebook got hacked. So if you have questions for him, you can call in or you can email me. And my website's www.infinitehuman.com. You can send me a question if you have one for David Icke. All right. And thank you all so much. Don't get down on yourself if you're having health issues, because it's your way of transmuting, purging, and clearing all this ancient trauma, cosmic rage, and just the past, so you can be and restore your divine, infinite holographic blueprint. All right. Thank you so much. Ciao from now from Malta.
Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of the Infinite Human Talk Show with your host, Elizabeth Monroy. We hope today's episode has inspired you to join the new consciousness renaissance and be the change by reclaiming your true divine infinite nature within and becoming an infinite human and a co-creator of the new infinite earth. Tune in next week for another empowering episode. Until then, have an infinite week.
Bye, Matt. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Elizabeth. Yep. Have a great rest of your day. Good week. I'll talk to you next Monday.
Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.